What is going on, Jerome's? The start of the 2023 NFL season is nearly upon us, and the final preseason game is going on this weekend, and cuts down to the 53-man Roosters are coming up, and some major blockbuster decisions have to be made about certain premier players. There's going to be a couple trades going down, so here are 11. Blockbuster insane trade proposals that we want to see go down. Starting off at number 1. Actually, this ain't really insane because I feel like this is going to happen. So Jonathan Taylor-Thomas, star running back of the Colts, the relationship with the horseshoe has gotten toxic. Dolphins, how'd you like to be Dalvin Cook? Where, hey, you could have had me, you just have to pay me, but you want to give up draft capital for... You inquired about Saquon. You're probably going to make a deal for Jonathan Taylor, and also you inquired on Josh Jacobs. It's got to make you feel real good if you're Dalvin. But I think Jonathan Taylor gets his way to Miami. I think he'll be like a second-round pick and some change. And I think that Thomas will get a new deal because that's exactly what Mike McDaniel wants to do. He wants to run the ball like he's a really hilarious, glorified running game coordinator as head coach of the Dolphins right now with Tua. There you go. So I think that gets done. Number 2, Josh Jacobs to the Eagles. Now, the Eagles were rumored to be in on Jonathan Taylor, and the whole thing about trading for DeAndre Swift hasn't quite worked out. Rashad Penny, that whole stuff. Gainwell is in that mix, but is he really going to be running back 1 now? Josh Jacobs still has a standoff with the Raiders over the franchise tag, and what if Howie... He goes a different route and gets, instead of getting the rushing champ from 2 years ago, gets the rushing champ from last year, where I don't necessarily want to see it because obviously Josh Jacobs would make the Eagles kind of gross. But in terms of just wanting to see stuff happen, where I love trades, make it happen. Make it happen, Captain. Next up, number 3. Yes. Where... the whole thing about, hey, well, you have to take on so much of Trey Lance's salary cap. No, not so much. He's making $940K this year as his base salary. That's all the Vikings have to take on to their salary cap because the bulk of his cap hits with the Niners is the prorated signing bonus, $22 million over 4 years, as well as training camp roster bonuses, which have already been paid. So make it happen, but something really cheap, like a conditional 6 in 2025. That's really about it. Where Trey Lance, he needs it's a conundrum because he needs reps, but also it would benefit him by sitting and getting practice time in and learning behind a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins and having a long-term guru at the quarterback position and like Kevin O'Connell to work with him. Completely tear down his mechanics and rebuild it from scratch. Also, frankly, I think a year in the USFL or XFL would really do him some good. Next up, number 4, Aaron Donald from the Rams to the Browns. Now, this one seems like it's going to happen, but it's something out of left field because the Browns are clearing up a ton of cap space right now. They're restructuring deals, and they're trying to get in before the Deshaun $60 million cap hits come due on that contract, right? And Aaron Donald does make sense where I feel like the Rams need to just completely tear it down and rebuild and reboot, where Stafford ain't it anymore. They let go of Jalen Ramsey, and Cooper Kupp is starting to age out too. So if you can get a mint for Aaron Donald, which even at his age, could you fetch a first-round pick for him? Maybe. And it does seem like the Browns are a little bit desperate. GM Andrew Berry, head coach Kevin Stefanski, they got to win this year, otherwise Jimmy Haslam is going to turn things over again once again in Berea. So, I mean, Aaron Donald to the Browns, just putting him in the AFC North and on the same D-line as Myles Garrett and our guy Zadarius. Let's go. That seems like a lot of fun. Next up, number 5. Not a lot of fun. So Chris Jones has been holding out for training camp. He's racked up $1 million+ in fines, which are unwaivable, but he wants a new deal, and why not go after one of the teams that have the most cap space in the league in terms of the crooked Chicago Bears? They need help everywhere, especially along that defensive line. They could use some interior help. They could use some edge help, which we'll get to in a sec. But making a move for Chris Jones, and of course Ryan Poles came up through the Chiefs organization, very familiar with Chris Jones. So again, as a Vikings fan, this would suck balls, but it would be a lot of fun to see. Next up, number 6. speaking of fun, so OW, yes, offensive weapon Cordero Patterson. So he came into the league as a receiver. 2013 first round pick by the Vikings, Rocky Top, Tennessee, and he's been a running back for the last couple of years for the Falcons. But they got Tyler Algier from BYU last year. They got obviously Bijan Robinson this year from Texas. So Cordero may be the odd man out. And why not go to Denver, where Jumpin' George Payton is the GM? He was assistant to the regional general manager when the Vikings drafted Cordero in 13 here in Minnesota, and the Broncos never really sutured up that running back 2 spot behind Javonte Williams, who's come back from an ACL. Plus, Jerry Jeudy just went down with a severe hamstring injury. He's going to be out for a couple months. So having Patterson as a running back / receiver / weapon, he could do a lot worse at this stage. Plus, it seems like his role is going to be expendable in Atlanta. Next up, number 7, Lyle Collins to the Vikings. Now, the Vikings need some offensive line depth, both at guard and tackle, and Lyle Collins is both. So he came into the league as a right tackle for the Cowboys, played a little bit of guard. He's currently on the Bengals, but he's currently on the PUP list, but it seems like he's going to be coming off fairly soon. But he could and should be the odd man out. I mean, Jonah Williams is still there. They got some quality backups. They brought in Orlando Pace Jr., Orlando Brown Jr. So actually, does Orlando Pace have a kid? I bet you he'd be really good. Anyways, but Lyle Collins, it would make sense in terms of giving up a very late round draft pick for some depth along the offensive line. I'm not saying that Collins will come in and necessarily overtake Ezra or Ed Ingram on day one, but it'd be nice to have that fallback option. Next, also, Skol SU, continuing the LSU to Minneapolis pipeline. Number 8, David Bakhtiari, from the Packers to the Jets. I don't care at this point. Like, Bakhtiari plays like one game every other season. So go ahead. I mean, just Jets trade for him. Just sign another one of Rodgers' guys and then just go from there. Like, again, this is going to be the most hilarious 8-9 team ever. I can't wait until they start 2-5 and Rodgers just flat out quits on them. It's going to be beautiful, man. Number 9. Andrew Booth Jr. from the Vikings to the Dolphins. Now, the Vikings are actually pretty deep at cornerback. So you got Byron Murphy, you got Caleb Evans, you got Mekhi Blackman, you got Joejuan Williams, you got Jalen Williams stepping up, as well as you got Najee Thompson as a special teamer. Booth, even though, yes, he was a second-round pick, kind of sucking hind teeth here with the Vikings. And with the Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey is hurt, maybe out until Christmas. Xavier Howard has some stuff going on right now. So Vic Fangio wanting some long, lengthy press corners, and if Booth can stay healthy, he can be an asset. But I don't know, second-round pick minimum. Hey, Chris Greer, holler at our guy, Kwesi. Next up, number 10, Chase Young from the Commies to the Bears. Now, could you imagine a world where the Bears somehow managed to trade for Chris Jones and Chase Young? It would be so disgusting. It would be great. Like, you give up like Carolina's first for Chris Jones, and then you give up like an additional 3rd and 4th for Chase Young. I mean, if Ryan Poles does that, I would have to salute him. But I don't know if it'll happen. But I mean, the Bears, they did sign Yannick the freaking Ngakoue, so it's clear that they had a need on the edge. But I mean, Chase Young, if he's healthy, can be a dude. I absolutely love and respect that kid. Lastly, number 11, Devin White goes from the Bucs to the Tennessee Titans, where, I mean, the Titans need some help at off-ball as well as in the pass rush, and Devin White sutures up both of those. Plus, he seems to have the mentality of a variable guy, hard-nosed, getting after it, that whole thing. So that does make sense there. But that's it. That's at. Take a look at 11. Insane trade proposals that we want to see before the start of the season. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.